soccer.
You think Petitti will have to respond tomorrow to the dominance that the SEC has with their golfers?
No.
That they had another golfer that won a major?
We better get a shout-out for the Northwestern women's golf team winning the national championship this year.
Who?
The Northwestern women's golf team won the national championship, won the NCAAs this year. I like that Brett Yormark was shouting out all of the Big 12 champions.
Yeah, you know what?
I thought that was a nice little touch.
I want my commissioner tomorrow to talk nothing but football, and I want him to talk football all the time.
Well, I don't think he's got another leg to stand on.
No,
I don't think he could say anything about basketball or baseball when it comes to the SEC.
This is the conference of football. They've won back-to-back national championships. I want him to say, we are the football conference, because I'm looking for the next Urban Meyer. It's not going to be Dave Portnoy, trust me. But it could be the commissioner. I want him all in on football, and this is what football is. And you know what, Purdue? Get better. You know what, Maryland? Loxley, let's go. Stay away from the craps tables. Let's go. Dial in. Recruiting class, let's go. All about football. You know what? And if they do that, they are closer to the SEC. And they're also closer to what Nebraskans would want. Is Nebraskans didn't like Bill Byrne all the time because Bill Byrne wanted all the other sports to be good as well. You know what, Bill? And I love Bill. I think he's the best athletic director Nebraska has had. Football, Bill. You know what? I could care less about women's golf. Football, Bill. And what happened? Bill kind of let football. I mean, when T.O. left.
Yeah.
Okay. But Nebraskans joined the Big Ten and they're like, you know what? We got this great volleyball program. We got this baseball program. We're going to dominate. We're going to do all this, which is still wild that the first year Nebraska was going to be in the Big Ten, that the entire media said, hell yeah. And Nebraska was the preseason favorite in 2011. But I won't, because Nebraskans just want football. Okay. Yeah. We'll dabble with some basketball, and we like all of our other sports being really, really good. But football is what we wake up and go to bed with. All right? And I want my commissioner of this league, football. We want 18 teams that are going to gobble up 12 playoff spots. Let's go break.
You don't think that'd be a good interview with Mike Loxley, like sweating out a 125 high-low at the table, rolling the numbers? Mike, you're on the hot seat. Yeah. Talk about hot seat. I got to get this 8 right here. Can we go? Actually, we'll go hard 6. Mama needs a new linebacker. Mike, how'd you get that new DN? What do you think? I'm doing it right now.
But that's what Nebraska has always wanted. Football. And the Big Ten, when you're not very good at football, you're like, hey, Petitti, can you talk about volleyball? All right. Volleyball day in Nebraska. Big deal. Drew more than we had for a football game. But now it's shifting of football. You know what? Izzo, don't care. All right? Because you can't spell football. Izzo is not in it. Football. That's why I hope tomorrow, like Petitti comes out swinging. He probably won't. And this is a pipe dream because I want the Big Ten to stop acting like the Big Ten. I want the Big Ten to say, buddy, we are back-to-back national champions. Game on.
Well, I think also, too, I would love it for Petitti to reference how important this season is for the Big Ten in football in general. Because if you win a 3rd national championship in a row, you go 1, 2, 3, back-to-back, and you do it in a way, too, where you have 2 teams in the semifinals, and you win it over an SEC team. What is the SEC going to say? There is no ESPN metric. There's no strength of schedule. There's no FPI. There's no pamphlet that the SEC can hand out and say, hey, we're a better football conference than the Big Ten if the Big Ten wins another national championship this year. I would love for Petitti to address that again and be like, we won it the last 2 years, and we know that we are in great position to do it again. And we are going to fully establish that we are the conference of football. And the SEC, and Sankey didn't really say it because he did a really good job of propping up the conference, and I don't think he wanted to put any pressure on, just the programs and teams. But Sankey knows that if they win the national title this year, that if an SEC team wins it all, he can go back to that conference next year and say, hey, what did we tell you? What did he tell you? You guys finally read the pamphlets. You finally listened to us. You finally gave us an opportunity. We've been this good for this entire time, and you fell into the pipe dream that was the Big Ten. No, we've been here. We've been doing it. We're still the SEC. We're still not only a football conference, we're an everything conference.
It's great if, tomorrow he goes, you know what? It's great that Indiana did what they did last year. And we like that they're in a good spot and they made a really good hire and they're investing in their program. And I like what's going on in Champaign. But hey, Nebraska and USC, you're in this conference for a reason. You bring eyeballs, your helmets.
Yeah.
Get better. Get better. He won't. He won't. But call out teams. That's what Urban Meyer did when he came from the SEC. He looked at the Big Ten and he said, get better. This is how we have to recruit. And some people are like, whoa. We just want to go to the parade on January 1. We don't want to play in the game. And he's like, I don't want to play in that game either. I want to play for a crystal ball. And he pushed the limits of this being a football conference. We haven't had Urban for a while, but the league has had some great success. We might need that push. And that push so that everybody is like, okay, if I'm going to go to bat for 4 automatic qualifiers, they damn well better be 4 teams that have a real shot to win the national title. Break.
I think that push is from Oregon. I think that's where that push is coming from. Because for a very long time, it was just Ohio State.
Where did that guy come from?
The SEC. Mm-hmm. And I think that now
where'd the guy at Penn State come from?
The SEC.
Where did Bielema come before he came back to the Big Ten?
Like
where did Signetti cut his teeth?
The SEC. I mean, it's one of those things though where the hierarchy of the Big Ten for a while has been Ohio State is the top dog, and Michigan is nipping at the toes, and Penn State is nipping at the toes. But you definitely understand who one is and who runs this conference. You can now make the argument that Oregon being like, hey, we are number 1 as well. That we are just as good as you are, is making this conference realize, holy crap, we don't just have to deal with one behemoth. We got to deal with 2. And it's a kick in the ass. And it's a kick in the ass the entire conference needs.
I think finally the athletic director at Nebraska and the conference are speaking the same language. Instead of Trevor's like, hey, let's, unlike Ike Horse, who was like, oh, you want us to abandon everything we do like that Black Friday? No problem. But am I going to be able to get something in return? Are we going to be able to get like a little bit longer on the map commercial of Nebraska?
Can we put the elephant on the map?
Moose tried, but they thought Moose was a circus. Okay, so they're like blah 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 blah. Now you get a guy like Dannon in there who stopped off at a Big Ten school before he got here, kind of. And he's talking football, because football opens the door to everything else. And the conference is starting to talk more that way. So the guy in the power chair in Lincoln and the guy that runs the league are like speaking the same language for the first time in a while since Nebraska's really been in this league. Now, the caveat is the team that you're talking about that lives in Lincoln, now it's time for them to uphold their end of the bargain.
I think with Dannon has made it very clear who butters the bread. He goes, hey, football makes more money than all of these other sports. Football is way more popular than all these other sports. We are going to give football every single thing they possibly need.
Hey, football is going to have red. No other sport on campus is going to have red because it's all about football. Football is going to be all red. Other sports, you better look at gray. You better look at black.
I don't think he's doing that. I think golf is still wearing red polos, I think, they slapped a Herbie on the Husker, basketball court. So they got that as well. Hey, Dannon likes Herbie and he likes red. He's really in tune with this fan base.
I wouldn't go all in on the Herbie thing. I think that is open to debate.
That he likes Herbie? We've put things on Herbie or Herbie on things now.
Yeah, he's succumbed to pressure.
I like Herbie. But we haven't had enough of those.
Basketball Herbie is different from
golf Herbie,
little frumpy Herbie guy that represents on Saturdays.
He's not frumpy. He's actually a little bit bigger than the old one, and he's a little bit he's built like a farmer. There aren't more people who like that Herbie than you do. People did not like buff Herbie who was going to the gym every week.
When I slide into my bib overalls, I like tightness. I don't like to have some flapping going on. I don't like to have open. Okay, when I put on the bib overalls, I want them to be snug.
You don't like flappers?
I don't like space. I like tightness.
You're like my wife when she gets in space. You're lost. It's a John Gruden quote. It's a good one. It's one of my favorites. Do you want Petitti to just have the roast of the century like on Big Ten teams.
No,
Like,
he really doesn't. He just needs to speak facts.
Imagine if
The
Michael.
league's in a great spot, man. The Big Ten is in a great spot.
Michigan State, you used to be a football school, then you became a basketball school. Now you can't be a football school anymore. Boom, roasted. Purdue, you still have the same running back you've had for the last 7 years, and you still can't win games. Boom, roasted.
Hey, you teams that are at the bottom of the Big Ten, you're a football school. Stay there. You know what? The rest of us are going to play big-time, big boy football. If I'm going to go to bat for automatic qualifiers, we gotta do our work.
We got to have like more than 9 teams be like legitimately serious about football and actually building something. I think you could name like 10 teams that they have made like serious decisions and serious hires and are moving in a really good direction.